We are here with another IEEE paper, Symbiotic Autonomous Systems, and this was released on November 2019. Computers as a tool for mind extension. We are in the computer age because many of our tools are directly or indirectly tied to computers. However, we are starting to see the emergence of a digital age in which the material to be manipulated and used for construction is no longer just atoms, but also bits. Spectacular advances in brain monitoring and in various forms of brain-computer interface, including deep brain stimulation, have proved the unification of soft, which are thoughts, and hard, which are neurons and neural circuits, in the brain. Notice the brain-computer interfaces, similarly, are composed of a hard and soft part, with technology evolution in both. The former detects brain electrical activity with electrodes and affects brain activity using technologies like optogenetics. The latter interprets the detected activity, creating a quote-unquote meaning, and commands specific actions to affect the brain. At the same time, SAS creates new challenging questions about the emergence of shared thinking and shared awareness with profound ethical issues. This digital technology evolution is moving us towards the availability of a seamless integration at different levels of these computer/digital tools with us, the users. These tools are becoming a seamless extension of our body and mind, as the hoe is an extension of the farmer's arm. This seamless integration is very important because it implies that these new tools are fading from our consciousness. We take them for granted, and they become an integral part of our life. The symbiotic relationship with tools leads to Human 2.0. Think about the many times we use our smartphones to Google a piece of information. When we do this, we are extending our brain's memory and knowledge using a prosthetic device without giving it a second thought. We are slowly entering the age of Human 2.0, or, as some have called it, transhumanism, and we are doing this through a symbiotic relationship with our digital tools. These new tools have become complex entities that are probably better referred to as systems. Hence, starting in the next decade. Remember, this was in 2019, so in the next decade will be 2029. And even more so in the further future, we will live in a dynamically changing world where we will be responding to the behavior of machines, machines will be responding to our behavior in a continuously changing fabric. And it will become progressively more difficult to distinguish the cause and effect between man and machine. Now, how wonderful is that? From symbiotic relationship to emergence of new entities. New entities. What is happening is the establishment of a symbiotic relationship among autonomous systems, as well as between them and humans. A recent example is the development of smart earphones, able to focus the amplification on a conversation that is of interest, shielding it from other conversation. In order to make this possible, the earphones intercept the electrical activity in the brain and through artificial intelligence are able to identify the conversation the brain is interested in. This is a clear example of symbiosis between a prosthetic device, the earphones, and the human being. There is yet another aspect of these trends that will become apparent over the next decade. The interaction of several systems, each one independent from the others, but operating in a symbiotic relationship with the others, humans included, will give rise to emergent entities that do not exist today. However, we are recognizing the abstract existence of something like a smart city, a digital marketplace, or a machine culture. These entities are seamlessly abstract concepts, although they are rooted in the interoperation of independent systems. As an example, a smart city is the result of an interplay of several systems, including its citizens as a whole, as well as individuals. We can design individual systems and even attempt to design a centralized control system for a complex set of systems, such as a city. However, a smart city cannot be designed in a top-down way, as we would do with even a very complicated system, such as a manufacturing plant where everything is controlled. Just the simple fact that a city does not exist without its citizens, and the impossibility of dealing or controlling each single citizen, as we would control a cog in a manufacturing plant, shows that controversial design approaches will not succeed. In the past, we felt that we could fully control a robot as we would a cog in a factory. However, as robots become more and more autonomous, aware, and able to self-evolve, they will become increasingly similar to human citizens, thereby requiring different strategies for management and control. Digital twins. This emergence of novel abstract, although very concrete, entities created by and leveraging these complex interactions is probably the most momentous change we are going to face in the coming decades. We have called these entities, quote unquote, digital twins, and they are categorized by three aspects. Number one, the capability to model a real entity, to be its digital mirror. Number two, the capability to keep in sync with the real entity status, becoming its digital shadow. Number three, the capability to record the history of that entity and its relationship as they evolved over time, creating a digital thread. As such, a digital twin represents sort of a bridge between a real entity and cyberspace. It is traditionally associated with a three-dimensional model of a physical device, but is not necessarily the only option. A digital twin is a mathematical model that replicates behaviors or patterns of physical devices and is useful in order to manipulate those entities in a space where that is a task much easier, faster, and cheaper than in the physical domain. Notice how the possibility of creating a digital mirror is becoming part of the industrial process of designing an entity using CAD instruments that by their nature work on digital representations. A digital shadow is becoming possible through the extensive use of the Internet of Things and pervasive connectivity that allow an almost real-time monitoring of an entity. This monitoring is both exploited for operation and maintenance as well as for distributed architectures to deliver services, partly residing in the entity itself and partly in cyberspace. In this sense, the shadow can become an active component in the control of an entity. A digital thread is resulting from the aggregation of data over time, linking the present of an entity to its past and to various actors that have been interacting with it. The digital thread, along with the digital mirror, is also leveraged for simulation and predictive analyses. Digital transformation. Digital twins are part of a broader shift in the business and social evolution brought forward by the digital transformation. That is the use of bits to replace atoms in part and to flank them, making it possible to execute and create business in cyberspace and with cyberspace, thus decreasing transaction costs, increasing efficiency by overcoming space barriers, and enabling the participation, cooperation, and competition of many more players. To blur the perspective boundaries at the social level between cyberspace and the physical world. First by seamlessly linking the digital reality with reality, and then blurring the boundaries between the two resulted in an extended reality that embeds both. The digital transformation is happening. In several areas it has already changed the landscape, like in the music and travel areas. In others, it is rapidly growing and taking the lion's share, like in the entertainment area. In other, it is steering the evolution, like in Industry 4.0, and in others, it is expected to become a disruptive force in the next decade, like in the healthcare area. An in-depth view of several digital transformation aspects are given in Annex 1. A course on digital transformation is available through EIT Digital in Europe and through the IEEE worldwide. Virtual, augmented, and mixed reality. Notice the increasing role played by virtual, augmented, and mixed reality technologies, services, and devices. These are expected to be the physical bridges between the world of atoms and the world of bits, while digital twins are the virtual bridges among these two worlds. Virtual, augmented, and mixed reality are addressed in this third white paper. It's their third white paper under the market, industry, and societal points of view. Augmented humans, Humans 2.0, and transhumanism. Embedded Internet of Things devices are also becoming more common. Think of sensors to monitor chronic pathologies, smart drug dispensers like insulin pumps, and home connected devices. Internet of Things devices are getting more and more sophisticated. In a short while, these Internet of Things products will communicate with each other through body area networks. Through what? Through body area networks. We covered the body area network and the medical body area network in episode 2, and we covered the wireless body area network in episode 3. And in the longer term, they are likely to create distributed decision points with an emergent intelligence. Shortly after this, a symbiotic relationship will be established with the person wearing the devices, first improving the person's well-being, and then the user's physical performances, and ultimately their intellectual performances as well. In this latter area, DBS and the progressively more sophisticated chips controlling it create a new way of interacting with the functioning of a person's brain, changing the way it works. This is the path leading to augmented humans, Human 2.0, or transhumanism. Human 2.0. Although these three terms are sometimes used interchangeably, we take the view of a progression where the first step is leading to augmenting the physical abilities of a person. Imagine having a wavelength converter embedded in the eye that allows a person to see in the infrared or UV spectrum, then reaching a point where many persons are markedly different from natural people because of their extended capabilities. These could include specific improvements, like a permanent seamless connection to the web, made possible by advanced brain-computer interfaces. This stage would categorize the development of Human 2.0, and its main difference from augmenting the physical abilities of one person is the generalization that will involve many people. Augmented humans. While in the augmented human, we are likely to see an evolution that starts, as it is already happening, to address some disabilities and then move on to provide augmented advanced functionality to very few people. In the development of Human 2.0, we have a generalized adoption of the technology, probably due to the decreasing cost for implementation. Note that it has already been said that we are already at this stage because of the generalized and systematic use we make of the smartphone to pair the web to our brain-based memory. What we have in mind with our interface with devices like our smartphones is not the full Human 2.0. We might concede to call this Human 1.5, and so far as in the nearer future, human-to-machine interfaces will remain visible. The transition to Human 2.0 is marked by a seamless, often invisible interface where you're not going to interact with the smartphone in an explicit way by typing or calling on Siri or Alexa, but you simply think of something and related information pops up in the mind's eye after having been retrieved seamlessly from the web or a local storage device that you may carry with you. Transhumanism. Transhumanism carried to the extreme may signal a transition to a new species, not driven by evolution, but rather by technological development. Although transhumanism is rooted in the concept of leveraging science and technology, it is looking not at a symbiosis between us and our artifacts, but to the possibility of changing, at a fundamental level, the characteristics, or some of them, of humans. Artifacts in a symbiotic relationship. We think that artifacts will evolve in a way that in some respects resembles the organic evolution of living creatures. The rapid development of technology enables this artifact evolution. It is therefore a natural step to extend the concept of symbiosis one step further, applying it to the relationship between artifacts as well as living creatures. AI technologies can use data from devices to extract emerging properties and direct the behavior of the Internet of Things in the cluster. Internet of Things swarms. This completely new domain will come into play in the next decade, as the number of connected Internet of Things will reach a threshold above which awareness, autonomy, evolution can take place. 5G is likely to be an enabling technology in this domain, providing the communication fabric for an even smarter Internet of Things and clusters of Internet of Things. The growing connectivity is an enabler of increasingly complex systems, provided that each or several of the various parts have some autonomous characteristics. In turn, the studying of various technologies and application areas will require the SAS view. And here's this lovely image: machine augmentation. We have bio-interfaced machines, context-aware machines, machine swarms, augmented machines, and machine awareness. Over here you have bio-nanotechnologies, biometric clues detection. They got optogenetics, signal processing, artificial intelligence, deep neural networks, convolutional neural networks, machine learning, LiDAR, sensors, social robots, effective computing, self-replication, low latency communications, your 5G, autonomous machines, and sentient machines. Optoelectronics. As shown in the graph, the area of optoelectronics has seen a significant growth in the last 5 years, and this trend is expected to continue in the next decade. The market can be split into LED, illumination, image sensors, photography, video, and general image capture, infrared, IR component, in which a significant growth is stimulated by use in autonomous cars, and laser diode similar to LED but generating a laser beam, with application in telecommunications, medical, consumer electronics, and storage devices. In terms of industry split, consumer electronics and automotive are capturing each close to 25% of the market, with telecommunications capturing around 20%. All these market areas are relevant to autonomous systems, with the IR market being particularly relevant to autonomous vehicles, since IR sensors are used to capture the environment and provide data to machine learning and machine awareness software that in turn generates digital models of the surroundings. Artificial intelligence. AI technology landscape. On the left side, you have neuromorphic computing, cognitive cybersecurity, robotic personal assistance, autonomous surgical robotics, next-gen cloud robotics, thought-controlled gaming, real-time universal translation, and virtual companions. And on the right side, you have real-time emotion analytics, chatbots, natural language processing, pattern recognition, neural networks, deep learning, machine learning, and autonomous systems. The artificial intelligence market comprises a very broad landscape, including hardware, software, and services. It can be split into a variety of ways: machine learning, deep neural networks, neuromorphic chips. There are plenty of reports addressing these various aspects, as well as regional splitting. The general consensus expects an exponential growth in the next decade. The AI software market reached a value of $9.5 billion worldwide in 2018 and is expected to reach $118.6 billion in 2025. It is also important to notice that the indirect market fostered by the application of AI has roughly the same size of the AI market itself. Machine learning is becoming pervasive, although there is a lot of hype in this area, and most of what is claimed as machine learning is actually the application of some neural network algorithms on a very limited set of data that does not result in real artificial intelligence. The market value of machine learning is expected to grow worldwide from $2 billion in 2018 to $8.8 billion in 2022. The neuromorphic chip market, brain chip, General Vision, IBM, Intel, Nvidia, Qualcomm, Samsung, Waymo, is growing rapidly, although it is considerably smaller than the software and service market. In 2018, the market hit $2 billion and is expected to grow to $10.8 billion by 2026. Sensors. The sensor area is so large that it makes little sense to provide a single market value aggregate. There are estimates on sensors for smartphones, a huge market that is leveling out as smartphones are reaching a maturity point in terms of penetration. In automotive, expected to grow significantly as vehicles increase their autonomous level. In healthcare, a rapid growth as wearables are gaining consumer interests. In Industry 4.0 is largely expecting a pervasive fabric of sensors. And in retail, significant growth as the supply and delivery chains becomes automated. Normal, non-autonomous cars already have over 100 sensors, and that number is increasing with every new model. By 2020, new cars will embed over 200 sensors, leading the number of sensors used in the automotive sector to reach 22 billion. LiDAR. LiDAR is a subcategory of sensors that is worthwhile to single out for this specific application in autonomous vehicles. Today, this technology is favored by several autonomous vehicle manufacturers, Waymo leading the pack in spite of its high cost. Other manufacturers rely on normal radar and video cameras with image recognition and analysis software because of the lower costs. Tesla is leading the pack. In the coming years, the emergence of fully solid-state based LiDAR may substantially decrease costs, making it more attractive. However, the use of neuromorphic chips and better software for image recognition and analysis may shift the adoption towards these latter technologies in the area of autonomous vehicles, including industrial robots. The growth is expected from $1.3 billion in 2018 to $6.4 billion in 2024. Image recognition. Image recognition has moved from being academic research to becoming a consumer feature. Seen in many digital cameras, the camera triggers the shot when everybody is smiling, and may take several shots to avoid blinking eyes, and software can change a closed eye with one that is open, taken from another picture in the sequence. These features have become common, but of course, image recognition is much more. It is about identifying an object, and there are a few apps that can tell you the name of a plant or flower. And it is about understanding what an object is, and therefore what it could do, something that is crucial in autonomous vehicles, needing to navigate a complex environment. A tree is unlikely to step out from the sidewalk and cross the street, not so a toddler. There is still plenty of research needed in this area, but today's technology is available and used in industrial and consumer applications. So once again, today's technology is available and is used in industrial and consumer applications. So like I've been saying, they are already using this technology. Image recognition is based on computation on data provided by an image sensor and often makes the use of artificial intelligence techniques like neuromorphic chips, neural networks, and machine learning. Because of this, we are discussing its market under the sensors area. The image recognition market is quite broad, including biometrics like fingerprint, iris scan, vein patterns, and face characteristics, object identification, and object quote-unquote understanding, and photographic editing. Low latency communications includes 5G. Demand for low latency communications originates from autonomous systems requirement to react promptly to changes in the environment and to unexpected situations. Latency is tied to the technology used and even more to the overall architecture adopted. 5G has this requirement etched in its specifications and low latency, as indicated in the figure, is one of the three main selling points for 5G. However, the question is what is the size of the market, i.e., how much of the market is willing to pay for low latency. As shown in Figure 7, the areas that demand, or at least benefit from, low latency communications are autonomous vehicles, industry automation, collaborative robots, and some health procedures, like robot assisted surgeries requiring haptic feedback. To a lesser extent, XR applications and gaming may require low latency and surely benefit from it. And if we look at Figure 7, the well-known graphic representing the three selling points for 5G, which is larger bandwidth, high density, and low latency. Here we have human augmentation. We have cognitive augmented humans, physically augmented humans, seamless tech augmented humans, ambient augmented humans, and internet augmented humans. We got optoelectronics, optogenetics, signal processing, artificial intelligence, deep neural networks, sensors, low latency communications, which is the 5G, smart materials for long-term implants, neuroimaging, brain-computer interfaces, virtual reality, implantable chips, exoskeletons, DNA modification, RNA modification, deep brain stimulation, cognitive prosthetics, neural engineering system design, smartphones, symbiotic intelligence, fluorescent proteins, and CRISPR-Cas9. Optogenetics. Optogenetics provides the means to affect very specific areas of the brain at neuronal circuit level. It is an invasive procedure, and as such, its applications thus far has been in research, and is just starting to be applied in very limited cases as a way to control brain activities, as an alternative to electrical stimulation with implanted electrodes. Applications to achieve human augmentation are not foreseen within the next 10 years. In the next 5 years, 2019 to 2024, the market is expected to grow at 16%, with an expected market value growth from $20 million in 2019 to $46.82 million in 2022. Beyond 2025, the growth may increase significantly, depending on results achieved by the flagship projects on the brain. The technology hurdle that is limiting the market growth is related to the difficulty of coupling the LED to the optical fiber. Basically, the tip of the fiber should embed an LED to activate the light-sensing protein in the neuron. Although Europe is the region with the most rapid growth expected, North America is leading the market in terms of technology and product offering through companies like AdGene, Cobalt Inc., Coherent Inc., GenSight Biologics, Laser Glow Technologies, Naldus Information Technology, Scientifica, and Thor Labs Inc. Smart materials. Science and technology have progressed to the point that it is now possible to design materials from the bottom up, starting from the desired characteristics to create a material with the right atomic and structural composition to deliver them. There are already several smart materials that have been created through design, and the variety and applications will grow in the next decade. As an example, Figure 12 shows the change in materials expected to be used in car manufacturing over the next 20 years. These changes will reshape several industries, enabling new products as well as modifying the players in the supply chain. And here's Figure 12. Change in the composition of materials used in vehicles in the US over the period 2010 to 2040. Most of materials expected to be used in 2040 will be designed, composite/smart materials. Brain-computer interface. The brain-computer invasive interface market is relatively small, $125 million in 2018, with a 12% CAGR until 2025, when it is expected to reach $283 million globally. The actual growth of the market, that is by far based on medical applications to treat brain disorders or nervous systems impairment, apart from military applications that are beyond the scope of this white paper, will be dependent on research results, particularly those expected from the flagship brain initiatives. Progress in technologies already mentioned, like signal processing and smart materials, will also play a significant role. The path towards establishing a symbiosis between human and machine, what is also known as mind-machine interface, through a seamless brain-computer interaction, is bordering on science fiction at the moment, and it does not have any market impact. Extended reality. Extended reality includes augmented, virtual, and mixed, has permeated several businesses like entertainment, manufacturing, marketing, medical, military, training, real estate, remote working, transportation, and tourism. Figure 14 comprises all the above areas and includes both hardware and software content. And as you can see here, Figure 14, augmented reality is growing much faster than virtual reality and is already dominating the market in 2018. It is expected to become almost 10 times bigger than VR in 2022. CRISPR-Cas9. Genome sequencing has already reached the edges of the mass market and is expected to become ubiquitous in the next decade. The market for DNA sequencing was over $6 billion in 2017 and is expected to exceed $25 billion in 2025. The largest part, 40% of this market, is for consumables used in the sequencing. The largest application area today is in diagnostics and will most likely remain so in the next decade. The availability of millions of sequenced genomes will foster the application of artificial intelligence tools to extract meaning, and this in turn will prompt the use of genome editing tools, of which CRISPR-Cas9 is currently the leading one. Genome editing can support curing of disease in humans, but is not expected to result in a significant market in the next decade. The CRISPR-Cas9 market was estimated $1.2 billion in 2017 and is expected to reach $5.3 billion in 2025. Most of the market growth is expected to be sustained by genome editing in agriculture. Deep brain stimulation. Deep brain stimulation is becoming an accepted procedure in a number of pathologies. With the majority of the market in the US, 65% of the global market in 2018, although Europe will see the greatest growth in the 2019 to 2024 period. Smartphones. Smartphones are clearly augmenting human capability by creating a seamless link to data in the web and providing a variety of applications and services supporting the broad range of augmentation, from overcoming distances to understanding a foreign language. Every single day, new applications are available, meeting needs in millions of niches. As shown in Figure 20, over 6,000 apps were released on the Android store every single day in the first quarter of 2018. The number of apps released every day on the iOS store, Apple, was only 1,434. One-fourth of those released on the Android store, but still a mind-boggling number. Even more important, from the point of view of impact on human augmentation, is the use. On average, we use 10 different applications every day and 30 different applications every month. The smartphone has become an extension of our brain. Symbiotic technologies are digital twins. The digital twin market is possibly one with the highest growth, partly because it is both fueling the digital transformation and it is fueled by the digital transformation. Another reason is the success of digital twins in areas like manufacturing and operation is pushing their adoption in other areas, with healthcare expected to adopt them in the next decade, and education knowledge management following suit. In a way, digital twins are both a consolidated technology and an emerging one, both in terms of application areas and in terms of technology. Standardization is ongoing and will play a role in their adoption and in market development. AR Cloud. One of the most important technologies for the future of augmented and mixed reality will be what Ori Imbar calls the AR Cloud, and other names such as Mirror World, Cyberverse, Magicverse, and Metaverse. Digital twins for personalized healthcare. Digital twins in personal healthcare are seen by classic healthcare industry players like GE, Philips, Siemens, Nokia as a way to capitalize on data that are accrued through their equipment, fostering improved quality in healthcare and decreasing cost. They are also seen, although never explicitly mentioned, as a way to defend themselves from the attack that is, and will be coming from companies that thrive on data and that see digital twins as a way to capitalize on their data and enter into the healthcare space. Google and Apple are at the forefront of this new breed of companies, with others already mentioned, like 23andMe, also trying to capitalize on their availability of data. It is most likely that for the first part of the coming decade, there will not be a clear winner in the fight between the incumbents and the data companies, but that the players will cause an acceleration of the adoption of digital twins. SAS and digital finance state of art solutions. Big data, AI, and Internet of Things enable a shift of the financial/insurance sector towards products and services, which will significantly improve the competitiveness of the sector and will stimulate more investment in big data and Internet of Things driven innovation. Disruptive solutions based on SAS and related technologies are arising in different contexts of financial services. The following section presents an overview of innovative solutions that will impact the digital finance sector in the near future. Now let's keep scrolling down. There is a few lovely images. But we're going to stop right here. Figure 63. Graphical representation of possible relationships among a human and a digital twin. And what do we have? We have your digital twin, which is linked to your memory, and that includes your knowledge memory, your knowledge sharing, and your augmented reality. It's linked to your social interactions, including your curriculum and portfolio. It's linked to your work, which includes shared working, impersonators, which is steady interaction that may happen in a physical object, working boundaries, and machines. Your digital twin is connected to your physical twin, which has personification and sensors using different devices. It's connected to your legal, which includes your official government IDs and digital security membrane. It's also connected to your health, which includes your psychiatrist, food advices, and knowledge about your training. And it's connected to your digital assistant, which has your digital life, helps you maintain your skills, organizes your files, gives you notifications, schedules any of your appointments, manages your money, helps you organize your life, and reminds you of your past experiences. The Feeling City. The purpose of the theme, quote unquote, the Feeling City, is to interface three important concepts that have merged from the looming combination of Internet of Things, big data, data analytics, and 5G. That is, digital twinning, smart city, and sentiment analysis. While the literature on digital twins as applied to smart city initiatives is still growing, not enough attention so far has been given to citizens' well being over and above the efficiency of urban functioning. The idea is to design a model of urban happiness that is based on both monitoring citizen mood and engaging the city dwellers to share their concerns and levels of satisfaction with the city fathers and planners. And let's keep scrolling. The diagram shows the loop connecting bits and atoms. Bits are created using sensors, forming data. The value of bits is very low, approaching zero, but the value of data can be high if they are meaningful. Hence, there is a drive to make sense out of the data through mirroring and modeling, and connecting and understanding. Digital twins, data-based entities, are an example of meaningful and actionable data. Through artificial intelligence and data analytics, semantics emerges. Semantics is crucial in the economy of bits because it is delivering value and the perception thereof. We don't pay for the data, but for getting their meaning and for the convenience of getting them. For example, I'm not paying for a song's bit, I can get those bits for free through YouTube, as an example. But I prefer to buy them from an online store for the convenience of getting them securely and quickly. Another example, I am not paying for a blood exam to get numbers, but to know the meaning of those numbers. And if we look at figure 65, by moving from the economy of atoms to the economy of bits, we are also shifting from the economy of scarcity to the economy of abundance. I could be here all day reading this PDF file, but I will leave the link up in the description for those who want to keep reading.